I'm Ernest Dollar. I'm the director of the City of Raleigh Museum and the Pope House Museum. So join me as we talk about the Native American history of Dix Park.
So perhaps the last glimpse of the Native American population of Wake County we see came in 1701. An explorer named John Lawson came to the New World, left from Charleston, South Carolina, walked up to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then came back across this area heading toward Newburgh. And he stops about a mere 20 miles from here at Falls of the Neuse. And on his way, he describes many of the native peoples that he sees along his way. So we get a really last gasp at a chance to identify these people, to look at the way they lived, what they ate, how they spoke, and really gauge their intersection between the old world and the new as Europeans arrived. So his book is called A Voyage to Carolina. It's an incredible journey of one man through the Native American Wake County. So one of the things that Dix Park does every year is to grow sunflowers. Now amazingly, this crop was one of the earliest crops Native Americans used when they began to settle down and domesticate plants. This probably happened around the Middle Archaic period, some 6,000 years ago. So it's incredible to see that that legacy continues through sunflowers today versus sunflowers over 2,000, 6,000 years ago.
Another source of food for Native Americans that would have been here at Dix Park were a number of berries, nuts, anything they could collect. So a lot of the paleo people who traveled through this area were hunting big game and also collecting food, berries, nuts, acorns. It's not until the development of agriculture they settled down into more permanent village sites and developed pottery and more complex government structures. So in the cemetery, everybody who died after 1913 has a death certificate, and those are incredibly important to understanding the lives and identities of who these people were. So they can tell us who their parents were, where they were born, and what they died of. So those are incredible documents to unravel the mysteries of who's buried here in the cemetery. Race was an important factor on who came to Dix as a patient. White patients came to Dix, black patients went to Sherry Hospital in Goldsboro, and the Native American patients were sent to Dix. And there are several here in the cemetery. There's Oxendines, Locklears, and this guy, Quince Carter, who we think was a Lumbee Indian Scuffletown. So we're here in front of the Spring Hill House. It's the oldest structure associated with Dix Park. Now this is right off the park property and owned and operated by NC State University as the Japan Center. But as we talk about the Native American connection, when Europeans first arrived, they looked for areas that Native Americans had already cleared, for old fields or for village sites. So it just made it easier to set up their own homesteads. So with this being one of the earliest parcels of the park, could this have been an area that was used by Native Americans before Europeans arrived in the 1750s?